So, what really holds a group of people together? Is it a shared belief, or is it maybe a shared anxiety? Today, we're going to break down a really powerful poetic text called When the Forelocks Turned. It's short, but man, is it packed. It gets into the fragile nature of authority, the power of fear, and what actually lasts when everything else seems to fall apart. Let's dive right in.
The text kicks off with this really powerful line. You have this image of unity, right? Many heads. But think about what's at the center of that unity. It's not a shared goal or some deep truth. It's something way more fragile, a single shared anxiety. This one line, it's the key to understanding everything that's about to unfold.
Okay, so to really get this text, you have to understand its central metaphor, the forelock. You could think of it as a symbol for your will, your allegiance, the very direction your life is pointed in. The entire story really hinges on one simple question. Which way is your forelock turned?
So, the text describes this huge pivotal moment, a collective turn. But here's the interesting part. Instead of scattering in a million different directions, everyone aligns. And the reason why they align is so crucial. It's not because they all found some shared conviction in the truth. Nope. It's a mutual fear that pulls them all in the exact same direction.
This idea of aligning on fear brings us straight to the core conflict of the text. It's basically a tale of two powers, two completely different ways of thinking about authority.
Just look at this contrast, it's so striking. On one hand, you've got this authority that's based on fear. It has to borrow courage, it makes you anxious. The text says it tightens the throat. But on the other hand, you have true authority. It doesn't have to demand your obedience, it earns it. It doesn't create anxiety, it actually steadies your soul with something the text calls sakina, this deep, profound sense of serenity.
And this is the absolute key distinction right here. Look, anyone can try to claim authority, right? They can intimidate you into complying. But genuine obedience, real loyalty, that's not something you can just take. According to this text, it's something that has to be earned.
You know, we usually think there's strength in numbers, right? Well, this text just flips that whole idea on its head. It suggests that a crowd that's only united by fear isn't a source of power at all. It's actually a source of weakness. True strength, that deep inner calm, can be found even when you're completely alone, as long as your forelock is turned toward the truth.
Okay, so you've got these two groups, one aligned by fear, the other by truth. The text then introduces this critical test, this moment of intense pressure that's going to reveal what each group is really made of.
And there it is, the turning point. The text builds the tension so masterfully with this simple, dramatic line. You just know everything is about to change.
And this is what that pressure feels like, just pure panic. The imagery is so visceral, eyes darting everywhere, hearts feeling like they're climbing into your throat, everyone just desperately looking for a way out. This chaos isn't the end, but it's the very thing that's going to trigger the big reveal.
And this is the climax. In that moment of intense pressure, you just can't pretend anymore. Where your loyalty truly lies, what you're genuinely submitted to, it all becomes crystal clear for everyone to see. The pressure reveals the truth.
The pressure reveals two starkly different reactions. The pretender, the one whose allegiance was just for show, immediately cries out, "We were deceived!" They blame some outside force, but the believer, they see the exact same chaos and say, "This is what was promised." For them, it's not a failure, it's a confirmation of their faith.
So this all leads us to one of the most profound ideas in the entire text, its definition of judgment. And, it's probably not what you're expecting.
So the text sets up this whole idea of a judgment. But what did it actually look like? What was the final outcome of this huge test? Well, first, the text is really clear about what the judgment wasn't. There wasn't some dramatic external punishment. No sword came down from the sky. The collapse, it turns out, came from within.
And here it is, the crucial definition. Judgment, in this text, is primarily exposure. It's that moment when a system that's built on a lie or on fear is just allowed to speak for itself. And in doing so, it completely unravels. Its own internal contradiction is what causes it to fall apart.
So that hour of pressure was really a test of foundations. It was like a great filter. The structure built on fear just collapsed, dissolving right back into the anxiety that created it in the first place. But what was anchored in that surrender to truth, it remained standing. It endured.
So, after all that, what are we supposed to take away from this? The text doesn't just leave us with a story. It ends by distilling the entire thing down into a few core principles.
It leaves us with these 3 enduring principles. Number 1, direction precedes power. Where you aim your allegiance is way more fundamental than any strength you think you have. 2, authority follows surrender. True leadership isn't seized, it's granted to those who are already aligned with truth. And 3, judgment is exposure. It's not about punishment, but about a revelation of what was true the whole time.
And it all comes down to this single, ultimate principle of endurance. Anything that's held together by fear is temporary. It's always going to dissolve. But what is held by an ultimate, enduring truth, what the text calls Allah, that is what lasts.
This final image just shows us the nature of that collapse so perfectly. It doesn't come from an outside attack. A structure built on a lie doesn't need to be pushed over. You just have to remove the false support, and it'll fall all on its own.
We'll end with this final, profound thought. The text suggests that the great collapses we see in history, the rise and fall of different powers, are just the external manifestation of a judgment, a sorting, that has already happened internally, inside the hearts of individuals. So, the question it leaves us with is, in which direction is your forelock turned?